So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Dublin and Mid-East Sustainable Energy Community regional event. This evening is all about sustainable energy communities, and we will be exploring ways that you and your neighbours can save energy in your homes and in your community as well. We will also be introducing you to the Sustainable Energy Community Programme and how you can get involved and how you might go about starting one in your area. So there's plenty in tonight, and hopefully if it's something you're considering doing, this will be food for thought for you. You'll also get a chance to learn how you might save some energy this winter, especially if you're working from home. So we're going to tell you about Codema's home energy saving kits, which are available to borrow for free from local libraries. So hopefully there is something in this for you. To begin, I have some housekeeping matters to attend to. First, I want to let you know that tonight's session is being recorded. That's one thing. I also invite you to update your name so that we can identify who you are. And maybe if you get a chance, you could add, if you're involved in a group, you could add that. And please do feel free to ask questions in the questions and answers box, not the chat box. And we will be answering questions at the end. I think we have a great lineup of speakers tonight, and we hope that it offers something for everyone. So without further ado, on to our first speaker. Oh, that's me actually. My name is Gavin Harte, and so I work as one of the Sustainable Energy Community Regional Coordinators with Codema in the Sustainable Energy Community Programme for SEAI. I'm also the SEC County Mentor in Dún Laoghaire Rathdown. I've over 3 years experience in the SEC programme, and I suppose I'd like to share some of that knowledge with you here tonight. So, my presentation this evening, an introduction to the Sustainable Energy Community Programme. And the purpose of my talk is to help communities and individuals to take their first step in joining the SEC network. Now, Codema is Dublin's energy agency, and we work with the 4 Dublin local authorities to accelerate Dublin's transition to a low carbon society in order to mitigate the negative effects of climate change and improve the lives of our citizens. Codema is the approved SEAI mentor for the National Sustainable Energy Community Programme, or the SEC programme, in the Dublin and Mid-East region. We provide free SEC mentoring services to local communities in Meath, Kildare, Wicklow, Fingal, Dublin City, South County Dublin, and in Dún Laoghaire Rathdown. That means that we're here to help groups such as residents associations, tidy towns groups, local community groups, and businesses to set up their own community SECs. So along with my Codema colleagues in the Dublin and Mid-East region, we are here to help you. So as I said, I am the SEC mentor in Dún Laoghaire Rathdown, so please contact me if you or your community are interested in starting an SEC in Dún Laoghaire Rathdown. But if you are in one of the other counties in the region, I'd like you to introduce you to my other SEC mentor colleagues. In Wicklow, we have Simon Whelan, who's working with communities there. If you're in Fingal, you can contact Eric Dennis. If you're in Meath, our mentor there is Philip McCormack. In Kildare, it's Emer Conway. In South County Dublin, we have Conor Malloy and Raoul MP. And you can contact Ger Doherty if you live in Dublin City Council. Now, I flashed up their contact details very quickly, but if you're living in any one of those counties, you'll find their contact details in the Codema website. That's at Codema/SEC. So you'll get a phone number and an email address if you'd like to get in touch with a mentor to find out more about the program. So Codema have also forged a unique partnership with all 7 local authorities in the Dublin and Mid-East region. Each county council is now actively participating in the SEC program as the lead partner applicant with local communities taking on the SEC journey. This means that communities who want to go further in the program can do so with their local authorities' help. So to set the context for all of this, the recent program for government committed to deliver a national aggregated model for retrofitting 500,000 houses by 2030. And this is where the Sustainable Energy Community Program comes in. The SEC is there to provide a way that people can improve their homes and community buildings together. And that's the only way that we can really achieve such an ambitious target, by aggregating houses and working together to do them in bulk. So what is an SEC? Well, an SEC is a sustainable energy community, and this is an SEAI funding and support program to help communities to work together to become energy smart. There are over 400 communities now in the SEC network nationally, and this is climbing every day. And it's open for all to join. All you need is an ambition to improve the energy performance of your community. A sustainable energy community will help your community to lower its energy bills, make homes and community buildings more comfortable, boost local employment opportunities, build community energy knowledge, and help make your community a leader in sustainable energy systems. And joining the network is easy. So what do you get by joining the SEC network? Well, first, you learn. And you get an opportunity to share experiences with other SEC communities around the country. You'll be invited to local and national SEC network events, and you will be assigned one of our experienced SEC mentors to help you start your SEC journey if you want to go further with the program. And that's what it is. It's a series of stepping stones to build your energy knowledge through a process of learn, plan, and do. By joining the network, going into partnership with SEAI, and then undertaking projects at a local level in your community. To begin, there are 2 levels of engagement: network and partnership. Joining the network is very simple. Just fill out a short application form on the SEAI website and you're in. It takes about 10 minutes. Then your county mentor will get in contact with you to provide you with a full day of non-biased expert advice on setting up your own sustainable energy community. And that's the first learning step in this journey, finding out how you take the next step towards plan. And that is the next step in the process, moving to plan and partnership. Now this requires a bit more work. So when you're ready, you can then apply for funding to begin your SEAI partnership journey, and your mentor is there to help you too. This means that your community can apply for funding of between 10 and up to €20,000 to carry out an energy master plan for your community. Think of the energy master plan like a startup business plan. It's an inventory of all your community's energy use and possible energy projects. It will help you to identify local energy opportunities in energy efficiency and renewable energy. You can investigate sustainable transport options, and you can explore smart energy systems that will be suitable for your area. So CODEMA are here to help you on this journey. That's our job. We're here to offer free, non-biased expert advice to help communities to take 3 steps. First, learn by joining the network, plan, and when you're ready, apply for funding and SEAI partnership to undertake an energy master plan in your community, and then do, and begin energy projects to become a sustainable energy community. 1, 2, 3. It's fairly easy, and with a mentor's help, it certainly is achievable. So if you're interested in starting a sustainable energy community in your locality, please contact us. You can email sec@codema.ie or visit our website at codema/SEC. Okay, so that's my quick introduction to the SEC program. As I say, we've got a very full agenda tonight. We've got some fabulous speakers that we're going to hear from 2 communities who have already started their SEC journey. We have Ringsend and Irishtown SEC, and we have Laragh Glendalough SEC. So first up to speak to us tonight, we have, I just need to stop my screen share there. Here we go, I'll just stop that. So first up tonight, we have Megan Kuster, who has been a volunteer member of the RISE community since the group started back in 2017. The Ringsend Irishtown Sustainable Energy Community formed in 2017, and Arden Energy completed the community's energy master plan in 2019. Also in 2019, the group carried out an SEAI Communities grant, which included efficiency upgrades and renewable installations at the Fair Play Cafe in Ringsend, in Clonagale Fauntleroy, the GAA club there, and in the local Rediscovery Centre. Currently, the group is doing some community engagement activities and putting together an application for a second communities grant next year. So Megan, over to you.
Thanks so much, Gavin. And hello to everyone. It's really great to see so many people interested in community energy. So as Gavin mentioned, I've been a volunteer with the Ringsend Irishtown Sustainable Energy Community since the group formed in late 2017, and I'm really delighted to have this opportunity to share with you some examples of work that we have achieved over the past 3 years, and to highlight, I suppose, some of what I see as the benefits of starting an SEC. So I suppose one of the first big milestones for us was the completion of our Energy Master Plan in 2019. And this Energy Master Plan was funded by the SEAI Stage 1 grant for SECs. And the Energy Master Plan was really important for us because it gave our SEC an incredibly useful picture of all the current energy use in the community and a viable path forward for further actionable projects. So as Gavin mentioned, we contracted with Ardent Energy to complete our Energy Master Plan. And Ardent Energy calculated the baseline energy consumption in the community based on data drawn from a variety of places, including recent census reports and the results of a representative sampling of energy use in homes and businesses in the local area. So some homeowners and businesses in our community actually received free energy audits as part of this process. And the EMP also returned a template for further action in the form of a register of opportunities for different kinds of efficiency and renewables projects. And this register of opportunities presented our community with a clear pathway for positive change by identifying feasible opportunities for lowering community carbon emissions and thereby giving us a chance to support the energy transition. So our Energy Master Plan is a jargon-free technical document, and although it's technical, it's powerful because, as I've mentioned, it lays out some directions for the community to take really realistic steps towards building some of the systems that will be helpful to address the climate crisis. So this is a screen grab from our Energy Master Plan, and what you can see here is some high-level data about our community's baseline energy use. So for example, you can see in the top left, the community's total energy consumption per year. And then in the middle, the cost of this consumption is estimated to be 10.8 million euros per year. These figures account for just over 4,000 dwellings, of which 72% are residential. This baseline summary also shows the average BER rating in the community by kilowatt hours. And as you can see here, our average BER rating in Ringsend, Irishtown is D2. So we know we have some room for improvement towards increasing comfort and energy bill savings. And I suppose what I want to emphasize here is really that the Energy Master Plan can give a really comprehensive, data-driven picture of the community's current energy use. And it's hard, I think, to underestimate how valuable this accurate baseline knowledge of current energy use is when it comes to planning efficiencies and renewables projects. So this is just another screen grab from our Energy Master Plan. And this gives a bit more granular representation based on data collected from SEAI's National BER database and the Central Statistics Office's 2011 census. And from this more detailed view, we can see a rough distribution of BERs across the community, which gives us a good snapshot of the variety and the spectrum of BERs by small area within Ringsend, Irishtown. So it shows how BERs in our community reflect the predominantly mature, but also mixed nature of housing within our community. And I think the key point here is really that going through the process of doing the Energy Master Plan helped our community to identify impactful spaces for awareness raising on issues of energy, climate, and participation in the local area. This slide is again from our Energy Master Plan, and it is highlighting the significant potential for energy savings for community members across the 4,000 homes in the community. It also highlights the key challenge of the significant cost of investment for efficiency and renewables upgrades and presents a few ways of overcoming this challenge in terms of information sharing on planning for refurbishment, engaging local interest steadily and over time, and achieving some visible demonstration projects in the area that can increase the interest within the community for carrying out energy retrofits. So this part of the EMP shows the direct impact of increasing the comfort of local homes and buildings while also lowering the cost of energy bills. So for me, one of the benefits as well of being in SEC happened when our community started to produce its own renewable energy. And I've really found that being involved with the SEC has been a great way to participate in really tangible projects that actively contribute to lowering energy emissions through the retrofits and directing money towards, in this case, as you can see in the picture in the top right, community renewables. So this slide shows the projects that the Ringsend Irishtown SEC has completed as part of our 2019 SEAI Communities Grant, when we worked with various partners to carry out lighting, heating, and insulation upgrades, and solar PV panel installations. So this photo in the top right there is from the Fair Play Cafe on York Road in Ringsend. It's a photo of the day the cafe got its solar PV installed. And that entire installation took just 2 days, and the cafe owner was really excited about amplifying the impact of the projects among the people who come to the cafe. So he also installed one of these electronic visualization boards. And as you can see from the photo, this is right next to the cash register. So it's directly connected. People can see, at the same time you're ordering your coffee, you can see how much energy the cafe is currently generating through the solar PV outside on the roof. And it's been a really strong talking piece in the cafe, sparking a lot of casual conversations about energy use among people in the community and how the cafe itself is contributing to creating a more local and more circular economy. And I think, yeah, for me, one of the main benefits of starting an SEC is really this creation of opportunities for community participation, and to be involved and to support other people to be directly involved in the energy transition. So this slide is just showing what we're planning next year, building on our successful 2019 projects. In 2021, our SEC will be making a second communities grant to do more work in the Fair Play Cafe and in the GAA, and to also bring in some homes for retrofits, bringing these homes up to at least BER B2 standard. And this project represents about 500,000 kilowatt hours per year energy savings, which is more than double the impact of the demonstration projects that we completed in 2019. So really the community is just at the beginning of starting to realize what's possible, and we're looking forward to building on what we've done. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all have very good luck in your SEC journeys.
Thank you so much, Megan. That was great. Yeah, it's amazing when you see that, isn't it? Like nearly 11 million euros the community is spending on energy. That's a great thing about the Energy Master Plan. It really gives you an opportunity to gather that kind of information, to find out so much more about your community. And also to realize that, you know, there is so much work that can be done. At D2, you know, as I say to communities, there's no shortage of things we can be doing. It's the capacity to get them done. And the sustainable energy community is a great vehicle to allow people to work together and safely, hopefully, undertake the works that need to be done. I love the little energy readout at the cash register. And really, it is all about casual conversations, as Megan described them. You know, they are so important in building the language, you know, making this a cultural norm. And that's really what it's all about. We're at a vanguard here. You know, there's a movement, a national movement. I kind of equated to the credit unions back in the 1950s and 60s when people were sort of coming together and setting those up. I think the sustainable energy communities have the same potential to bring communities together around a common bond, a common idea, that being of sustainable energy, and working together to improve the energy performance of their homes and making their communities more comfortable and pleasant places, and to have interesting, casual conversations about sustainable energy. So Megan, thank you very much. That was brilliant. Next up, we have Finian McEvoy from Laragh Glendalough SEC in Wicklow. Finian is an executive member of the Wicklow Uplands Council and chair of the Laragh Glendalough Tidy Towns Association. Just to give you a little background about that group, in October 2018, after a meeting of the Laragh Glendalough Tidy Towns Association. They discussed their points in the different sections of the Tidy Towns competition. And it was very evident that they were doing very poorly in what they call the sustainability doing more with less section of the competition. Now, they were already doing their own recycling and composting, and they had a community garden that was growing in popularity. So they were growing their own fruit and vegetables, but they decided that it was time to do more about reducing their carbon footprint, especially with regard to energy usage. They contacted a number of people in their area and asked them if they would like to get involved in moving towards a more sustainable community by reducing their fossil fuel energy and moving towards renewable energy systems. They were delighted with the response, and in a very short time, they had 15 very committed people discussing the way forward, namely the Laragh Glendalough Sustainable Energy Community. So Finian, over to you, please tell us your story.
Thank you very much, Gavin. We're not quite as far on as Megan is yet, but we are getting there. And we felt that sustainability was so important that we decided to start up our own committee separate from the Tidy Towns, because there was so much to be done with the Tidy Towns group themselves. They could not handle both operations. So we called ourselves the Laragh Glendalough Sustainable Energy Community. The Tidy Towns Committee agreed to fund the cost of meetings such as rent and of facilities, etc., until the Sustainable Energy Committee were in a position to fund their own operations. We got in touch with the SEAI for information and guidance on how we should approach the setting up of an SEC and the various steps in getting there. The Sustainable Energy Communities Programme Handbook 2018 and the Communities Energy Grant Application Guidelines of 2019 are very useful in helping us on our journey. We then entered into an SEC partnership agreement with the SEAI, and this gave us mentoring and technical support. Each member of the committee, of our committee, signed the community charter, which set out our vision to make a measurable contribution within our community to the long-term sustainability of our environment within a period of 5 years. Gavin Harte, our SEC mentor, who, by the way, is Simon Whelan at the minute here in Wicklow. Simon Whelan is our mentor now, but Gavin Harte at that stage and Raham O'Neill from Wicklow County Council met our committee and gave us information on making an application for funding from the SEAI for the development of an energy master plan. Wicklow County Council were happy to act as lead applicant for our SEC, and this meant that we didn't have to open a credit union account or bank account or anything else. So it is pretty straightforward. Our next step then was to decide the geographic area we should cover. Glendalough SEC, our close neighbours, were already working on an application for funding. And after collaboration with their committee, we decided on the townlands we should include, with Laragh more or less in the centre. At this stage, we decided to call a public meeting in the Brockle Resource Centre, which is here in the centre of Laragh, to let the wider public know what we had in mind. Over 500 people attended this, or 50 people, sorry, over 50 people attended this meeting, and it was obvious that there was a good interest in the concept of setting up the SEC. A very important part of informing the wider public of what we were about was our monthly parish newsletter, which was distributed distributed to approximately 450 households in the area. 2 of our committee members were involved in the publication of the newsletter. And each month, apart from updating recipients on what was happening in our SEC, we also included an insert of some article dealing with climate change and the consequences of global warming, such as being more efficient, energy efficient, insulation of our houses, tips for saving energy and money around our homes, and so on. After this, then, we decided on the application for SEC funding for the development of an energy master plan. In the partnership agreement with the SEAI, there are 4 levels of funding for the development of the energy master plan. Gavin has already mentioned those. Level 1 was for 10,000. Level 2 was for 15,000. Level 3 for 20, and level 4 for 25,000, depending on the annual energy spend in your SEC. We drafted a register of opportunities, just to mention a few here. One was to conduct a feasibility study for the installation of and operation of PV microgeneration on the roof of the Brocca Centre in Laragh, and also to conduct energy awareness workshops. To conduct a feasibility study to determine the optimum location for the installation of multiple electrical charging points. There are just a few of them. But anyway, from moving on from there, from the 2016 census, we were able to establish the number of domestic dwellings and population of the various town lands we were covering. There was roughly about 540 houses, population of 1,400 people. Now, this is a very different place to where Megan was talking about. It's a very, very rural community we're in here. With Laragh being, you know, almost half of the population in Laragh itself, and the rest then scattered out in 17 different townlands around our area here. We had 540 houses with a population of 1,400 people or thereabouts. And non-domestic buildings then, including shops, hotels, restaurants, community centres, schools, churches, etc. We had about 40 of those. And following on from this, we were able to establish, also of course here, was our energy spend and transport, which again was estimated. You know, a lot of people would be travelling from here that have a good distance to travel to work into Bray or into Dublin. So our transport costs are quite high as well. And following on from this anyway, we were able to establish what our baseline energy costs was for 2017. And this in turn indicated we were entitled to level 2 funding, or 15,000, towards the development of our Energy Master Plan. We completed the Energy Master Plan funding application in May of 2019 and forwarded it to the Wicklow County Council to have the relevant sections filled in and signed by our lead applicant, Wicklow County Council, before sending it on to the SEAI for approval. Now, there is a lot of work involved in the development of an Energy Master Plan. And since all of our committee were involved on a voluntary basis, we felt it was best to leave the development of our Energy Master Plan in the hands of the 3 counties' energy agency, rather than developing the plan from our own resources. Now, the 3 counties' energy agency were contracted by Wicklow County Council to do the Energy Master Plans in Wicklow. We then signed off on a part of what we needed to do as well was draw up our own constitution, the Laragh Glendalough SEC constitution, which we had been working on for over a previous number of weeks, which stated our aims, how they would be achieved, membership, equality opportunities, and so forth. We got approval for our 15,000 grant in October 2019 from the SEAI. After this, we contacted the Three Counties Energy Agency for a meeting with them. Our first meeting took place on the 17th of January last, where we gave them our Energy Master Plan application and some ideas of what we expected in our plan, such as identifying energy conservation measures that would be of most benefit to our community. We called a public meeting on the 11th of March, just before lockdown, and invited the Three Counties Energy Agency to make a presentation about their involvement in developing the Energy Master Plan. They told us about the importance of having as many as possible of the domestic and non-domestic energy surveys filled out. The more energy surveys completed, the more robust our Energy Master Plan would be. A representative from the SEAI gave an overview of the grants that were available at this meeting. The response to the energy survey was good, with over 45 domestic buildings and 5 non-domestic buildings being completed. And from domestic surveys completed, we had to pick 10 which were representative of the total number. The Three Counties Energy Agency then carried out a full audit on those. They also carried out a full audit on the 5 from the non-domestic survey. At this stage now, we're expecting to have our Energy Master Plan, a draft report on, possibly tomorrow or early next week. So at that stage, we'll sit down with the Three Counties Energy Agency and go through and take it from there. So we're looking forward to our next stage at this stage. But there are challenges as well, and I'm just going to give you a few of the challenges that we can see at this stage. Getting buy-in from the community. Retrofitting houses, by the way, it's not cheap. It's an expensive business. So I suppose maybe the first place we should look at is attic insulation. It's probably a good starting point. And changing our light bulbs, using LED bulbs, as they're more efficient and will reduce energy costs. So I suppose opportunities, we have more competitive prices with greater numbers carrying out insulation in the same area. So we should have better prices. If a contractor is coming in to do one house and he gets 10, well, obviously the prices for each household will be cheaper. And we're also maybe thinking about district heating per suitable, cheaper per individual house. We'll also have employment opportunities as well while this is going on. Again, this is so important at this particular stage after the effects of COVID-19 and everything else. So look, it's onwards and upwards, and that's about it from me tonight. And thank you very much for listening. And by the way, just one other point. Laragh, Glendalough, it's a beautiful area, a great area for social distancing. And, you know, where better to spend the Christmas than in Glendalough? We're open for business and love to see you all coming back again at this stage. Thank you very much.
Good man, Finian. I'll be down. Right, no, you can't beat a good walk down there. It's fabulous. So just to pick up some of the points you were mentioning there, Finian, I think the partnership between the tidy towns, now this, you know, this is different between a rural and an urban situation, but, you know, it's a way to actually build community capital, you know. So you have your tidy towns group and they saw a need. So the SEC was established, and that's a tier of engagement within your community. And yet they support each other, you know, they're very supportive of each other. And you did say, you know, that there might be a difference between the rural and the city version, but, you know, at city level as well, we have small communities like residents associations. And there's a great opportunity, I think, there for communities to get to know who their neighbors are. You know, you're probably in an urban environment, people living in very similar housing, you know, and to actually get out there and meet your neighbors and then potentially talk about doing this work together. You know, you got the economies of scale that Finian mentioned there as well. So working together, finding groups, networking with existing groups in your community, a key part of it. and bringing people together. And Finian, it's only going to be a matter of time before you do have a meeting with 500 people turning up. So, you know, onward and upward, as they say.
Hopefully.
So, so last but not least, we're going to hear from Katie Harrington of Codema. Katie's going to talk about the energy saving in your home by using the Codema Home Energy Saving Kit. Katie is the Energy and Climate Awareness Officer with Codema, which is the energy agency for Dublin, working with the 4 Dublin local authorities and other stakeholders to transition Dublin to a healthy, sustainable, low carbon region. So over to you, Katie.
Thank you, Gavin. So I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. So you should be able to see that now. Hopefully that's okay. Let me know if not.
Not yet. I don't think I can see your screen yet.
Oh, you can't see it? Okay, no problem. Hold on. Share this one. So that should be.
There you go. You're getting there now. So you just need to push that to play. There you go.
Is that okay?
That's
yeah.
it. Perfect.
Perfect. We got there. Great stuff. On home energy savings. As Gavin said, my name is Katie Harrington and I am the Energy and Climate Awareness Officer with Dublin's energy agency, Kuster. So I'm here this evening to talk to you about energy saving in the home over these winter months, these cold winter months. And, you know, our energy saving tips should be especially relevant considering many of us are working from home and have been for the last few months. Before I get started, just to say, feel free to pop any questions you may have into the Q&A box and we'll go through them at the end. I also have a few poll questions for you all as we go along, so I'll let you know when to partake in those. So with all of that in mind, I should get started. So Gavin touched on this briefly in his introduction, but just to give you an idea of what Codema is and what we do. So we were set up over 20 years ago, and essentially our vision is for a better quality of life for all citizens through a fair and inclusive transition to a low carbon society. And in order to bring this to fruition, we act as the energy advisor to the 4 local authorities in Dublin. And we work very closely with the 4 county councils to essentially improve energy use and reduce our carbon emissions across the region. So as you can see there, we work across a range of service areas from monitoring the energy use of council buildings to energy planning and district heating. And we also would have worked with the 4 Dublin local authorities in developing their climate change action plans. And another area that we work in is in the area of energy awareness. So that's where I come in and why I'm here this evening to talk to you about how you can be more aware of the energy you use in your home every day and really what you can do to drive down that energy use and ultimately save on your bills. So at Codema, we are firm believers that you don't have to be an engineer or have a technical background to understand the energy use of your home. So whether you're renting accommodation or you own your own home, it is so important that you're comfortable in the place that you call home, especially even more so now that many of us are working from home. So I just wanted to include this pie chart just to give you an idea of the average energy use in an Irish home. So as you can see, space heating, so how we heat our homes, contributes the majority of energy use in our home at 60%. Domestic hot water is next at 24%, and then electrical appliances, lighting and cooking make up the remaining 16%. So this evening, I'm going to share some simple energy saving measures in relation to most of these areas that you can take to reduce and improve the energy use in your home. So with that in mind, there's 2 main areas that I'm going to cover with you this evening. The first topic will be some top energy saving tips that you can implement coming into the winter months, especially when working from home. And I'm also going to introduce you to our home energy saving kit scheme that is running in 70 libraries across Ireland. So it's a brilliant resource. It's a very popular kit if you're looking to get a better understanding of your home's energy use and identify bad habits and things like that. So I will take you through that shortly. The first, our first poll of the evening. So if we can get this down here, I'm going to set this up. So you should see this pop up on your screen. But the question is, by implementing energy saving measures in your home, how much do you think you could save on your energy bill? So if you can, feel free to start your voting now. Okay, so I can see that, okay. 20% has won, meaning that you are all correct. The answer is yes. Brilliant. And now obviously this depends on a number of factors, such as the current energy rating of your home, the efficiency of your appliances, that kind of thing. But through a range of energy saving measures, you could really impact your energy bill. And to help you do this, let's look at the energy saving measures you can take in your home this winter. So I figured we're officially in December, so why not make it festive? So I've broken the following energy saving tips into the 12 days of energy saving. So depending on where you're at in your energy saving journey, you could look at trying these out over the next couple of weeks and just see if they make a difference to your energy bill. So if you remember the pie chart I showed you a few slides back, space heating is the biggest consumer of energy in our home at 60%. So I figured let's start there. So firstly, if you have heating controls in your home, we would recommend turning down your room thermostats. By even turning it down by 1 degree could save you up to 10% on your energy bill. So the optimum temperature is about 18 to 20 degrees for what we call occupied spaces. So that would be your living room, and 15 to 18 degrees for non-occupied spaces, such as your bedroom, for example. Next, we would recommend turning your radiators down or off in rooms that you don't use regularly, because if you think about it, you are wasting energy in heating up these rooms if they are not occupied. Also, if you have a wet central heating system, we'd recommend bleeding your radiators regularly, at least once a year. And another tip, radiator foil behind your radiators, especially if they're fitted to an external wall. So this is going to allow heat to be reflected back into the room. And then one final tip in relation to your radiators is to move your furniture away from radiators, just to allow for the heat to radiate to the rest of the room. And then number 3 is all about your windows and doors. So it may seem obvious, but by closing doors in your home, you can avoid losing heat to hallways or other rooms. Also, make sure to close doors to unused rooms, so you're only heating the smallest possible area. And something to also check once you have your doors closed would be, is there a draft coming in through your windows and doors, especially in your workspace where you're probably spending a lot of your time. And if you do identify a draft, you can buy draft excluders for your doors and windows, which you can pick up in most hardware stores. Or if you're up for getting creative, you can actually make these yourself out of fabric. And there are tons of YouTube tutorials on this. So it's just an inexpensive solution to try out if you're up for it. So moving on to home related appliances. So if you are someone who's means it is likely you've become more acquainted with your kitchen over the last few months. So I have a few tips to help with this area of the home. Firstly, the fridge and freezer. So these appliances use a significant amount of energy, mainly because they have to be kept on all of the time. So making sure that they're running efficiently is absolutely key. And with that, it's important to make sure your fridge and freezer are at the correct, most efficient temperature setting. So that is 3 to 5 degrees for your fridge and -15 to -18 degrees for your freezer. Any colder than this, you could be using unnecessary energy to cool your fridge and freezer. Oh, and then also in relation to your fridge and freezer, we would recommend defrosting at least every 6 months to ensure it runs efficiently. So on day 5, why not check to see if this is necessary for your fridge and freezer? So a good guide to follow is that there should be less than 5 millimeters or ½ centimeter of frost buildup. Any more than this, you need to defrost your freezer, because the more frost buildup, the poor the air circulation and the more energy your freezer or fridge has to use to keep cool. And then another tip in relation to your freezer is keeping it full. And by doing so, it's going to use less energy, because what happens is when your freezer is full, there's less room for warmer air to take up when you open the door. And any items in the freezer help cool down that air that does sneak in. So keeping it full means less energy used. And if you don't want to fill your freezer with food, you can use things like newspaper or fill up water bottles. And then day 6 is all about your dishwasher and washing machine. So firstly, always make sure they are full before turning them on. And if you can, try and run them at a lower temperature or on eco mode. And if your electricity is cheaper at night, you could try and run this appliance overnight to save on cost. And then other appliances that are very much on our radar now that we're working from home and prepping most, if not all of our meals at home, but also now that we're coming into the festive season, you know, appliances like our kettle, our stovetop, and our oven. So a really easy change that you can make today is to only boil as much water as you need in the kettle. So I'll speak on this again with our home energy saving kit, but it really does impact your energy use by only filling the kettle with the water that you need. And it's something to consider given the amount of tea that we managed to put away as a nation. And I know myself that my tea consumption has absolutely skyrocketed since working from home. So day 8 would be to avoid opening the oven door too often when cooking, because you can lose about 20% of accumulated heat in your oven by doing so. Also, where possible, try to cook meals at the same time to save energy. And something that I have started doing, which works very well, is to turn off the oven for the last kind of 5 to 10 minutes of cooking. And this is going to make use of the residual heat from the oven. And you can also open the oven door to heat up the kitchen as well when you're finished. And finally, using lids on your pots and pans while cooking. This is going to speed up the cooking time, therefore using less energy in the cooking process. And also, just to say, if you do plan on buying any new electrical appliances over the festive period and beyond, do make sure to purchase appliances with the most energy efficient rating possible. And the final area is lighting, which is not only important for the kind of general ambience of your home and your workspace, but, you know, considering we're officially in December, you know, Christmas lights are being put up, so it's definitely something to consider as part of your energy saving measures. So first things first, maximize the use of daylight in your home. So open curtains and blinds during the day. You know, if you are working from home, arrange your workspace if you haven't already to allow for maximum daylight. So trying to work near a window or the brightest room will allow you to avoid switching on lights until absolutely necessary. Day 11, so this may seem like an obvious tip, but make sure to switch your lights off when you're leaving a room, for example, your home office. So leaving lights on in rooms that you're not occupying just wastes energy, and it's going to drive up your energy bills. So I grew up with an electrician as a father, and I didn't realize what an effect he'd had on me until I moved out. I found myself turning off lights after everyone in the house and being that really annoying housemate. But yeah, it's a really simple thing to do, and it's going to reduce your electricity usage and drive down those energy bills. And then, of course, last but no means least, switching your bulbs from traditional halogen or tungsten bulbs to LEDs is a great way of reducing your home's energy use, because LEDs use a fifth of the energy of a halogen bulb. They last up to 10 times longer and can save about €7 per light bulb per year. So definitely something to consider. So they are just some of our top tips to help you save energy and ultimately save on your energy bills. So now I'm going to take you through our home energy saving kit scheme. So firstly, what is it? Well, the home energy saving kit is a kit with 5 tools that can help you assess how much energy you're using. The scheme is that you don't have to spend a penny to use the kit, because you can borrow it free of charge from a number of libraries across the country. And by using the kit, it will hopefully make you more aware of your home's energy use and help you identify areas for improvement. So, for example, you might have walls that might need better insulation. You might have, electrical appliances that are driving up your bills and so on. So just to give you an idea of what you'll find in the kit, so we have a thermal leak detector, a plug-in energy monitor, a temperature and humidity meter, a radiator key, a fridge freezer thermometer, and we also have a water flow exercise, a very important user manual. But because I'm short on time this evening, I'm just going to show you two of our most popular tools in the kit, the thermal leak detector and the plug-in energy monitor. But just to say, all of these tools here address the different areas and measures I suggested earlier in the presentation. So, for example, the radiator key is used to lead your radiators to ensure that they're working efficiently. The temperature and humidity meter will identify if your rooms are the optimum temperature. So if you remember, 18 to 20 degrees for occupied spaces and 15 to 18 degrees for non-occupied spaces. And it's also going to tell you if your rooms are, high, low, or perfect humidity. And then finally, the fridge freezer thermometer is going to tell you if your fridge and freezer are at the most efficient temperature setting. So taking a look now at the thermal leak detector and the plug-in energy monitor in a little more detail. So I mentioned in the space heating energy saving measures to check for drafts in your workspace and around your home. And this tool does exactly that. So I'm not sure if any of you have tried a thermal leak detector before, but it is our most popular tool in the kit, and it's a lot of fun to use. And you can use the thermal leak detector to measure the temperature of your walls, your floors, around your windows and doors, your ceiling and so on, to spot any thermal air leaks and drafts. And it's a very easy tool to use because it uses an LED coloured spotlight, which will change colour when it picks up on a change in temperature. So for example, if your windows aren't sealed, it's going to switch from a green light to a blue light to show you there's a cold air draft coming in, and it will red light show you that there's heat in your home. So it's great for identifying areas in your home that need better draft proofing or more insulation and so on. And the second tool I wanted to show you is our plug-in energy monitor. So if you remember the home and cooking appliances that I was talking about, this tool allows you to measure the amount of electricity these appliances are using, as well as other appliances around your home, such as your TV, your laptop, or maybe your phone charger and so on. And you can then work out the running cost of each appliance over the course of a month, 6 months, or a year, for example. And you can also use the energy monitor to measure your standby energy. So I think a lot of us would be in the habit of leaving our TV on at night or our laptop on standby. And granted, doing this may only use a small amount of energy, but it really does build up over time. And by simply switching appliances off at night, this can result in cost savings at the end of the year. So the plug-in energy monitor will allow you to identify the electricity usage of these kinds of actions. And it's also a good way of identifying bad habits in the home. So for example, I recently did electricity that would be needed to boil a full kettle versus boiling enough water for just 1 cup of tea. So myself and my friend are both working from home at the moment, and we'd have on average about 3 cups of tea a day. So for the final poll question that I have for you this evening, put it up here. So can you guess how much myself and my friend would be adding to our energy bill at the end of the year if we were to continue with this bad habit? So do you think we'd be adding €20 to our energy bill, €30 or €50? So, okay, so I'll share the results now so we can see that €50 won. And I'll just stop sharing that. And once again, you're all correct. It was €50. And that is only one appliance. So you can imagine, So you can imagine the savings that you could make by testing out other appliances around your home. So if you are interested in borrowing a kit, I'd recommend checking out our map on our website, which shows every location that a kit is available. And here on the screen, you can see all of the counties that are involved in the scheme and have kits to borrow from their local libraries. So as I said, there are about 70 libraries across the country with the kits. And our ultimate aim is to have our kits available in every library in Ireland. So you'll find this map at codema.ie/energy saving kit. So as well as our map detailing where you can pick up a kit, we have all of our home energy saving kit resources available on our website through the link there on the screen, including videos explaining each tool and guide to home energy saving. The whopping 94 tips on how to save energy at home. So you can find all of this at codema.ie/energy saving kit. And then the final area of our website that I just want to draw your attention to before I finish up is our Think Energy Hub. So as well as the home energy saving tips that I just took you through, you'll also find more specific tips for energy savings when working from home and saving energy in your workplace. So you'll find all of this at codema.ie/Think Energy. So that is the end of this evening's presentation. I hope you found this helpful and you now have a good idea of how to start on your energy saving journey, and you've hopefully picked up some useful tips to implement over the coming months. But as I said, if you're interested in trying anything I spoke about today, you can find all of the information I've shared and lots more at codema.ie, and you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Energy Saving Kit and at Codema Dublin. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Katie. That was great. Just to let you know, I'm sitting in a Victorian house with a blanket on my lap right now. There's another one of doing it. Probably not the technical solution, but it works well. It's great to see those old photographs, Codema, the socially, non-socially distant photographs of groups together, isn't it? Wonder when we'll be seeing those kind of things again, but it's great to see the team like that. Just a couple of things. Pressure cooker is a great idea for cooking as well. They're great machines, great technology. And there was a great idea from one of our SECs up in Meath in Batterstown. And what they did there was they took out the home energy saving kit and they asked some of the kids in the local school. The kids took it on as a project, actually. They went around and they visited houses in their neighborhood and in the community, and they actually used it as a science project in the school. So it was a really good way of the kids engaging with the SEC and doing some research and, you know, bringing it together. So it's like those casual conversations in Ringsend. It's about that social, making this the norm. And the tool, the home energy saving kit, is a fabulous one for that. It's accessible for everybody at whatever level you're at. And as I say, the 100 tips in the program itself go from, you know, the big to the small. So there's something in it for everybody. So thanks again, Katie. That was great. Okay, so we're over to the questions part of the day. And there's a bunch of questions in. We've about 9 questions in. There's a couple of them there for me, and there's a couple of them there for various people. I'll just pick out my ones first, if that's okay. So I have one from Mary O'Brien with regard to houses achieving a particular rating to get the grants. There is now a requirement that houses getting a material upgrade need to achieve what's called B2 standard. So that is a big step up for people. Again, to be able to do that within a part of the community. And to find out more about the subtleties of the grants, again, SEAI and your mentor can get into those kind of details about the sort of details. But yeah, I mean, there is a certain rating to bring houses up to a materially improved standard. And Pauline was asking about some SECs and DLR that might want to share their experiences. Pauline, get in touch with me. I'm quite happy to have a chat with you, and perhaps maybe we could put you in touch with some of your neighbors. Some questions for Megan. How many houses, Megan, do you anticipate will be included in the next project? And also, does the eventual funding secured cover the full cost of the project? So Megan, if you wanted to just unmute and give us your ideas on that one. That'd be great.
Yeah, so thanks for the questions. We are hoping in this next communities grant for 2021 that we would have hopefully about a handful of houses for the demonstration retrofits. Even 2 or 3 for this first round would be great. We are planning to reach out to the houses that received a free audit as part of the Energy Master Plan to re-engage with them and see if they are interested. And we've also put out some wider calls within the community to see if anyone has an appetite at the moment for being part of the projects. And then as far as the second question, our grant funding for the stage 1 grant, which was to produce the EMP, that did cover the full cost of contracting with Ardent Energy, who wrote the EMP for us. It covered the energy audits. And it also covered some awareness raising. So we did, in the first instance, we started a website and some social media channels. And then we have some more awareness raising workshops kind of coming up next year. Thanks for that.
Great. This is just another question to you too, Megan. And I suppose this is unique to each area. You know, I mean, each area has a different kind of geographical location, and you're very close to the electricity power stations down there in Rings. Is there any talk of district heating moving in from those kind of facilities nearby?
Yeah, there is, and I think those of you in Kodima would know more about where that district heating plan is. But indeed, we do live very close, and one of our first events as an SEC was actually to organize a group field trip down to Poolbeg and take a formal tour of some of the facilities. So it was actually just really great to get that experience of actually being able to talk with people and do some team building ourselves and be on site and to learn a little bit more about what's actually going on there and plans for the future, including to hook up to a district heating scheme. And as I say, I think people from Kodima would know more about that timeline.
And just one last question. How did Ringsend actually go about sourcing your EMP consultant?
Yeah, so SEAI provided a request for quotation template that we amended very slightly with our SEC mentor, and then we circulated that to 3 contractors who wrote up proposals for us. And then as a steering committee, we evaluated those proposals that came in based on criteria that were included in SEAI's request for quotation. So they were things like demonstration of understanding of the requirements, skills and experience in delivering similar services, ability to deliver the requested services, and price.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a big job, you know, taking on that. And that's one of the things that I mentioned in my presentation. We now have partnerships formed with all the local authorities in the 7 counties of the Dublin and Mid-East region. And the local authorities are going to take a lot of that heavy lifting on behalf of communities if you wanted to partner with them. So procuring an energy master plan consultant, actually paying for it, the upfront grant, because the grant is a retrospective grant, the local authority are willing to take on those tasks for communities now, which is, you know, you need to be focusing on building your community, getting out there, meeting people, and some of those administrative and perhaps more complex tendering processes, you know, we want to try and help you with that. So again, Megan was in there early, she had to take all that work on, but we're hoping to help communities now in the next round of doing their EMP by partnering with their local authorities. A question for you, Finian. Was your SEC and your master plan process affected or delayed by the COVID-19?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't really. There was probably some delay, all right, you know, because they couldn't get out to do the audit on the houses at a particular stage there, and it probably held up things, you know, probably up to maybe possibly 2 months. But other than that, I think things weren't. All our meetings, our meetings were done over Zoom, and from the 17th of March, we hadn't had any meetings since then around the table. But we're getting along with it, and hopefully now, as I said, the end of this week or early next week, we'll have our energy master plan.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's great. Well done. You got it done within the time. That's brilliant. Katie, just a question for you, and I know it's probably a very broad question, but where can people get the energy savings kit? Is there a list to the libraries, and is it free?
It is free, which is great news. And as I mentioned, so it's available in 70 libraries across Ireland, and we have a detailed kind of interactive map on our website. So yeah, if whoever asked that question, if you just want to go to codema.ie/energy saving kit, we have a full list of all of the counties, and then specifically you can pinpoint in on the map where you live and see if it's in your local library. And free to borrow, you just borrow it exactly like you would a book. You go in with your library card, you take it, you can borrow it out for 2 to 3 weeks, depending on what the library has in place. Yeah, which is plenty of time to kind of use all the tools, and then you could borrow it maybe 3 months, 6 months down the line and see if any of the energy saving measures that you've put in place have made a difference.
That's great. There's a few kind of general questions around the program itself. So there was one person who was looking at you know, defining your community. There was another question about a specific community of 14 houses that are protected in Phibsborough. Could you form a group of residents with your residents association through your residents? Absolutely. The SEC program is very flexible, really, about defining community. So there's lots of different types, not just the basic urban and rural. There's, you know, small communities, there's businesses, there's all sorts of groups that make up an SEC. So 14 protected houses that want to work together, I'm sure that can be accommodated. With regards to your boundary question, certainly you need to have some sort of sphere of influence there. So there has to be, you have to have some sort of connection with the place. So, you know yourself really what is a realistic boundary. So if you are a GAA club, you know, you might have a very clear membership or, you know, that kind of thing. Or if you're a residents association, very clearly defined by the types of your building. Or if you're an urban village or town, like out here in Dún Laoghaire, we've got Dalkey, Tidy Towns are the focus for one, or we've got UCD, college is another one. So look, there's a list of all the different SECs. You can get ideas from that on the Codema website as to what makes up a community, but it's a broad church with regards to engaging. I'm not sure that any of us are greatly skilled in answering. I have a rough stab, but there's costs and things like this. You know, what is the cost of external insulation for an average size house? Again, I can't give you an answer on that, but it's not good to find out. And again, the SEC is a great vehicle to be able to get that consultant, get your mentor. You can start to have those kind of conversations within your community to work out those numbers, you know, and to give you something to discuss. There are, let me just take a look, the SEAI grant schemes. Again, there's loads of them, and there's lots of opportunities in applying for them. But again, what this workshop about today is the aggregation. It's the idea of coming together as a community, work together for that common purpose. Now, look, we've come to our time. There are a couple more questions there as well, but I'm afraid we you know, please do contact us separately. Send us an email, and we'll try to answer. I really would advise people, if this is something you're interested in, or even just kind of partially interested in, get in touch with your mentor. You know, they are professionally skilled people who understand this program. They can help you. They have nothing to sell. They're non-biased. They're there to support you and your community and have great experience in this space. You know, by joining the network, you have access to those people for a day. And that's a really that's a really valuable learning step in this journey. So you can contact your mentor through the SEAI, through the Codema/SEC website. You can get their contact details there for your county. So please do drop them a line. They'd love to talk to you. So look, we've come to the end of the night. I'd really wanted to thank everyone for coming. As I say, do check out our website. Keep in contact with your county mentor. If you're thinking about this sort of, keep an eye on Codema's Twitter site. You'll be able to follow what's happening there, and we put up notes of events and things that are happening. We're going to circulate slides and recordings of this over the coming days. Look, it was great to have you there. I'd like to thank Megan from Ringsend, Finian from Laragh, from Codema, and most of all to you for coming along tonight. So thanks again and good night.